Check, 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 check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Vader Games in the building. Whew. Guys, girls, men, women. I honestly don't know where to start. But I'm going to start the way I usually do. First things first, my peoples come first. My people's here, my people above, and my people in the chat. What it is, we got a great show. It might be a confusing one because I want to stay on track. I want to go over a few things, but let's recognize what's just happened here. This is week 40. This is City Intelligent Agendas, episode 14. Week 40. We know that it's a 38-week season. Week 39 was FA Cup, win over United. Week 40, Champions League, win over Inter. Dream season for club. Dream season for City. Dream season for club and fans. I'm not going to lie to you. I got choked up. And it's not like it wasn't a choked up, and I will get to the comments, but let me say this before I lose my train of thought. I got choked up because I thought of the players that have played for the club. And I'll be the first to admit, I'm not a fan from the 80s. I'm barely a fan of the 90s. And even there, it was like from a distance, right? Like seeing box scores in the newspaper. It was reading over or having that read over to me from my uncle. Like it's different, but modern times and thinking of the players that wore this badge most recently, but prior to that wore this badge. And never, I'm telling you, as much success as I wanted for the club, as I thought of the club, I never thought of this. This is an absolute dream season. And we're going to break it down a little bit. We're going to talk about what that means. 100%. We're going to talk about what that means. And I know there's a lot of content out there, and I know I'm probably conflicting with some other channels. So just hear me out. Please hit that like button. Share this if you can. It's been shared in the group chat. Everyone's all over the place. The parade happened today. I know there's like enough debates, enough battles happening in Twitter Spaces as well. I'm going to try to do a good job speaking here, but bear with me. This season, absolute dream, and it's not even perfect. Oh my gosh, this isn't like a perfect season, but it's an amazing one. And how do you even dream or think of a perfect season when this has been what it's been, man? It's crazy. I want you in the comments. I'm going to start at the beginning of the comments and I'm going to get to you. But please, in the comments, let me know which player comes to mind that's not here today. Which player comes to mind that's not a part of the club today that you're like, oh, what an achievement from where we started to where we are. What player, past or maybe even present that you're like, that work that put in for us to get here. I want you to think about that. I got Pitch Points, Gunnar Carl in the building. I'm going to bring them on stage. But first, I want to shout out the very first comment that's on the show today. The very first comment, and that is from Dre P. That's from Dre P. Dre P wants to let me know. He goes, I recall weeks ago saying that after getting so close, City should not have been satisfied with either or FA Cup or CL. Seeing this amazing team win the two is the highlight of my year. Dre P, that is a highlight of the year. That is a highlight of That's the highlight of a journey that's still continuing. That's a highlight of a pursuit, a winning culture, a desire that's not done. This is what's wild about it, Dre. This is what's wild about it. Let me say this: after watching them in the CL, I did not even jump. I was so calm. I just slowly nodded. Yes, that's how it's done. That's what the best club team in the world earned and deserved. Dre P, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I'm gonna let you know what my experience was, but let me shout out Pitch Points, Gun DeLorean, Carl. Thanks for being on the show, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm well. It's a rainy day here in DC.
Same here.
I'm going to go recruit some kids again for next season, but I'm very happy,
Ooh.
man. I've had a good weekend.
Yeah, but you've had a good weekend. I saw that you posted. It was a great picture. Someone took it from the back with you and your son leaving the training grounds. It was a successful season. It
Yeah.
was so fitting. What a weekend, man! What a weekend. Um,
Yeah.
I got to ask you because I know we've talked. We've already spoken, but just for the sake of the show, I want to ask you that final whistle. That final whistle when it was like cemented. No late drama. How did you react in that moment? I know you celebrated the night, but how did you react in that moment?
Yeah. For me, it was just joy, and I think to watch this game, I had a few choices to watch this game. I had a choice to go out with friends to a bar to watch it.
Mm,
I had a choice to go watch it with some other City fans in another bar. But I chose to stay with my family. I chose to stay with my son, my girls, my wife, um, because I wanted to share this moment with them.
mm,
I felt it is important for them to see their father enjoy the moment and celebrate together, and
nice.
just share that moment with them. It was more important for us to enjoy a moment as a family as opposed to sharing with some guys or some rivals in a club or in a bar. I just thought it was a special moment, and I
Yeah.
expected that moment to happen. So it was very nice.
Oh man. I mean, I think I'm. I had a very similar moment. I don't want to generalize, right? I'm not a young man. I'm married and kids, and I I
Yep.
also
Yep.
thought I think if it was a few years back, or the kids a little younger, it would have been different. But the fact that they understand the game a little more, and also just seeing the passion and seeing the interest that you have in the sport and the club, I thought it was like you. I thought it was important for the kids to witness it, and again before the final whistle from kickoff to see because they've seen my reactions through league play, right? Like games versus the rivals or big games because of what the results may mean. But um, they knew exactly that this was a one-off game, and to see how every action was so critical is was key. I think Carl just dropped because of connection. It sounded like he was driving, but that's how I want to share it. I wanted this win, or
Okay,
it
I'm
ended
back.
up being a win. Yeah, I see.
I'm back.
I wanted this pursuit to be witnessed or to be shared with the kids, and uh, it was absolutely amazing. I'm going to go to the comments, but
Yeah.
also when
I
was
mean,
there any was there any combo with the final whistle? Was there any kind of, or did you sit and listen
yeah,
to?
yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think I think the conversation I had with my kids was, in last summer when we had discussions about the season and Erling Haaland coming in, I felt in my spirit and my bones and my soul that this season was going to be special. Um,
Mm,
and throughout all the travel, all the travail, the Brentford loss, the Spurs loss, the issue with Cancelo, the different systems, the Newcastle away, all that, Pep not buying a fullback and the Jack
yep.
situation, not scoring goals. I just had this belief that something special was going to happen this season. I just felt that, Erling Haaland, in my opinion, was the special thing. He was the mascot, the lucky charm that would take us over the line in all three competitions. I just felt that.
Yeah.
There's something about that kid that he brings. He brings not just goals. He brings the mentality, the desire, the attitude of winning. Not very different from what we're used to. But he also combines that with the strange humility that's incredible. With that confidence and that youthful exuberance, he has this humility and ability to just, believe and be aggressive, but at the same time, just be humble.
Yeah.
So I always felt that this is going to be special. That if he had on his day, he would give us something special. But also, on his day, even if he doesn't score a goal, he creates so much turmoil and panic that somebody else would score a goal.
Thank you, Gundo.
Somebody
Thank you
else
so
will score
much.
a goal. Yeah.
This is key, and I'm gonna get to the comments. Thank you so much. But this is the thing, and this show, it's celebration time. Like, this is a dream season for the club and fans. So I'm gonna focus more so on that. And there will be continued CIA episodes, throughout this off season, quote unquote, because we're gonna stay sharp. We have to stay sharp because the agendas, let me say this. I know I'm all over the place. The agendas they're getting rewritten. They're getting devised from a different angle. Some of the things that many had drafted. Oh, you'll never win a Champions League with Pep. Oh, Haaland makes you worse. Oh, KDB is not a big game player. All of that nonsense is just getting rewritten. They're adjusting it. They're editing it. Now, I want to say this because Carl brought this up, and it's bang on. Haaland, his influence, his impact on this team, rivals will already try to dismiss it. They'll try to talk it down. They'll try to just make it about GA. All right? That's what they're going to try to do with this player. But there's a reason why we've gotten over the line with this player in our squad. One second, Carl. One last thing. And there's also a reason why a player like him has to be strategized, has to be game planned by a rival team. If you choose to try to minimize him, eliminate him as an option, you expose other things at risk. And I'm not going to have any rival say that Haaland was not influential because he didn't have GA. I just have to make sure I got that out.
I mean, I want to give you a very clear example. And for all those who are watching, I want you to take this and I want you to go study it again. After the celebration, after the drinks and the beer and the champagne and all the wine and all that stuff, I want you to go back and watch that goal that we scored. And I'll explain exactly what happened because I've watched it. Right? Nice. Part of our job on CIA and on True City Fan on the pitch points and the CUNY way is to study the little details and figure out what happened and why. Okay? So the goal that happened, right, exonifies Pep Guardiola's choice of both Akanji, Bernardo, and Erling Haaland. I'll explain. So the genesis of that goal in the 63rd or 65th minute starts with Phil Foden gets the ball in the box, okay? He controls the ball, dribbles out of the box, okay? Gives the ball to Akanji. Akanji is better on the ball with passing than Walker is. Clear. It's not even a joke. It's light years ahead, okay? Akanji receives the ball, and he's smart enough, good enough with the ball, intelligent enough to recognize the movement of Bernardo Silva and Erling Haaland. Now, what do those two do? Those two are running to the byline. And if you notice what happens, go back and watch it again. When Erling Haaland goes central to the byline, there are 2 or 3 defenders who go with him. Okay? When Bernardo Silva goes to the byline, 2 or 3 players go with him. So you have 4 or 5 defenders from Inter Milan go with both Erling Haaland and Bernardo Silva to the byline, by the goal line, near Onana.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, Bernardo knows that his role is to receive the ball and is good enough on the ball in that space, right? Tricky enough, right? To hold the ball and touch it back into what we call the Z zone. The zone right by the penalty. You know that's City's space hotspots because somebody will always be there to finish it off. And the reason he's able to do that, Vita, is because both Erling Haaland and Bernardo have taken 4 defenders towards the byline, towards Onana, creating a massive hole right behind the penalty spot. And guess who arrives there to finish it off? Rodri.
Now, let me say this, because you know what we do on CIA? We don't mess around. We don't mess around. The quality on this channel, because of the features that I have with Gundalorian, True City Fan, Mancunian Way, we break things down. We got Klilnical in the building when Hamza's able to get here. Don Smoke as well. We break things down properly. And what Carl just mentioned is why you can be lazy. You can dumb it down if you want. But just because the player doesn't show up with the GA, just because the player doesn't show up with crazy number of attempts, you have to look at and Thierry Henry, arguably the best player to have played in the Prem, prolific scorer. When he does his Champions Leagues and he speaks from a position of experience, one of the best, and he points out strengths, he maybe criticizes. When he's talked about Haaland, he's done them both. He's been very even with how he's expressed what Haaland can do or what he does on that pitch. And I just wanted to put this on screen. YouTube, do not copy strike me. This is strictly for learning purposes. Strictly for learning purposes. Do not copy strike me. This is strictly a learning purpose, a review, a breakdown. Now, what Carl mentioned, we're going to illustrate right here. You can see they're on screen right now. Akanji with the ball. Look at Inter, man. You know what? It's a celebration, but I'm still heated on this. I'm still heated on this because, and sorry, oh, I heard someone pop in backstage. My bad. Oh no, okay. Wait, why is that on screen? Oh, my bad. I need to stop doing that. Okay, sorry. All right, I'm gonna leave this for now, and then I'm gonna bring somebody on screen, and I'll get to the comments. Trust me, I will get to the comments. Apologies. But what Carl just broke down, we're gonna have there on screen. Actually, let me try and do this. Because I heard someone pop backstage again. Klinical's in the building. Carl's in the building. My peoples, what to do? Clinical, thanks for joining the show. I'm just about to go through the goal breakdown because this hate, this try to minimize, this try to dismiss Haaland and his influence over at City. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. There's a reason why his addition to this team had us pursuing a treble and also had us completing the treble while winning Champions League, obviously, because you can't have the treble without all of that. But Haaland, new to this squad, right? Everyone had an influence, 100%. But Haaland, new to this squad, needs to be spoken about and needs to be addressed. I'm going to put this on screen right now. We see Akanji with this ball. And we see Inter. Look at Inter right now. Let's take a second. Look, I'm going to count this out. Look at Inter. 1, 2, 3. Oh, man, I didn't mean to do that. Damn it. I didn't mean to do that. Inter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders. We know that's how they're setting up, right? Carl, I think you're in a bad spot because you're kind of choppy. But I'm also counting out. Let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 midfielders all in that mix. So that's 5 to 4. That's 9 players. 9 players against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They still had the numeric advantage, and they had the numeric advantage within that 18-yard box. We're still playing space. Go ahead. Yeah. No.
I mean, again, just as I explained before, I apologize for the break.
No,
it's because it's the reason why, much to our chagrin, Guardiola starts Akanji, Bernardo, and Foden becomes the emerging. Before this action happens, right? Go back and watch the action before Akanji gets the ball. Go back and watch it. Foden is in the box. He has the tenacity to get the ball. No space. He comes back out because of traffic. He goes outside the penalty box. He gives the ball to Akanji, who has pushed up into the half space. City love the half spaces. They love that space between the penalty box and the 18-yard box to the right. They love those half spaces, right? Bernardo drops into the byline towards the goalkeeper. So does Erling Haaland. They pull 4 or 5 Inter players with them into the byline, and they're trying to get Bernardo.
Let me play. Hold on one sec. Let me play that, what you just described. Let me let the video scroll through a little bit. Watch this. So as Carl just mentioned, I'm going to let this play a little bit. See Akanji? Now Akanji slips that into what he just described with regards to Bernardo going into that space. All right?
Now look at the body position of all the Inter players. They're facing where?
Yeah.
They're facing their own goal.
Yes.
They're all facing their own goal. They're trying to close down Bernardo and trying to close the gaps with Erling Haaland. And they're leaving the half space to the right open for who? For Akanji, who knows that the ultimate goal is not for Bernardo to score that goal, but for Bernardo to drag those players back to the goal line, square it back, and somebody arrives, like a Rodri arrives to take the shot. That's the whole agenda, right? So Bernardo is literally the dummy right? That creates an opportunity in the half space for Rodri to come and score a goal. They completely deceived Inter. This is what they do.
Absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And this is also when we let's watch this. Let's watch that again. Let's watch that again. Let's watch that again. Let's watch that again. Strictly for learning purposes, YouTube. Do not copy strike me. But we're gonna play this from the jump. But look at the just okay. Don't look at the ball. Look at Haaland as well. This is what I want to focus on. Look at Haaland as well. He's got that Inter defender on him right now. Look at his movement. Let's watch Haaland's movement now. Haaland goes off his shoulder and then he gets picked up by the other Inter defender coming across. Because obviously one has to leave the focus that he had on Haaland now to Bernardo. And the space that Haaland now occupies with the attention of everyone crowding into that 6-yard box gives our man Rodri, and again, that goal from Rodri was not easy. That goal from Rodri was not easy. He picked the spot in that net and put it away. He put that goal away. Now let me get to this comments, and I know I'm way behind. Apologies. Klilnical, how you doing, man?
Honestly, I'm just still up there. I've just been listening to so many different media from Blues around the world and their experiences and what we saw over the weekend. I love the scarf, by the way. I have to shout that out.
Yo,
But
respect. I got respect.
yeah, it's just been a mad weekend, and I haven't even really been able to tactically break down the game as yet because there's just been so many emotions, and it's still a bit of disbelief on the fact that like what we've just achieved this weekend, and I don't think I'm ever gonna forget this.
Man, there's no forgetting it. There's absolutely none. And the thing that I love so much, and I'm gonna just do it in a different way, but the fact that we get together in our group chat, when we're able to, because we all have busy schedules, so when we're able to be on shows or even comment within each other's shows, but it's the way we've journaled, like we've had a diary like throughout the season together, and I really enjoyed even when we had the conversation about like the weak points or the strong points within the season, just to kind of reflect on how things have gone, and for that entire journey to be summarized like this and what just happened over the weekend is absolutely amazing. I'm way behind on the comments. I will get to each and every one. DC goes, I'm telling you, this team, this manager, this staff, truly elite and the stuff of dreams. DC, you're absolutely right, man. We are privileged to be alive to see this. Let's cherish this team and appreciate them. DC, many of us all said the same thing. We jumped into space. Mancunier, actually, I don't even know if Mancunier is available. Let me. I didn't send him the link, but we all jumped on the space and we just talked about it, and it's.
I have to go in a couple of minutes. I have a tryout, but I just want to say one last thing. On the WhatsApp group, I posted a video of my son and his teammate who played a game on Saturday before the Champions League final.
Yes,
now
I saw
these two boys are in the Man City Academy in the USA. Okay. Now I posted that video because the same principle you saw with Bernardo Silva, Rodri, and Akanji was the exact same principles these 7-year-old kids put in place to score a goal. I shared the video. It's on Twitter. If you take a look at my handle, good Lorian guys out there.
You put it on Twitter as well.
It's on Twitter. It's on Twitter, right?
Okay, nice.
And the reason I put it on Twitter is because these two boys play in the City Academy. We coach them on the system about space, about recognizing the open pass, about pressing, about winning the ball, about recognizing the right pass, and how to slow down to make the finish one touch. Okay? And that video has my son's friend on kickoff for the other team, winning the press, making a run to the outside. My son makes a run to the inside. There's a gap between the two defenders. My son's friend lays the ball into him like De Bruyne. My son is running quick. He slows down, recognizes the pace of the ball, and he strikes the ball with the outside of his foot, outside the D, one touch into a small goal. And this is what we teach these kids in the academy with the same philosophy that Pep uses for the first 11. The pass, the move, the control, the pressing, the winning the ball back, recognizing space, using your brain, not your foot. Using your brain, not your foot.
Nice.
Know how to deceive. Know how to deceive. My friend, my son's friend, he drags 3 players with him outside, which leaves a space for my son on the inside, and he lays the ball across, nice and easy, on the ground, on the grass, for first time pass into the goal, just like Rodri, just like Akanji, just like Bernardo Silva.
Nice.
So when I talk about the fact that, guys, this is not just, look, we're going to probably win the Champions next year. Okay, no Chelsea, no Liverpool. This is not a fluke. This is going to be the beginning. The beginning of great things.
I'm not ready yet, but I hear you. I'm not ready yet, but I hear that. And again,
I got to roll, Vader. I got practice now. But I just want to come on your show.
Have a great recruitment, and man, it was a special season to be able to share it with you, and have a good evening, man. We'll talk soon.
There'll be more coming. Take care, guys.
Of course.
Take care, man.
Now, Pitch Points, Gundelorian, Carl, he goes in. Financial details, going through some breakdowns, even going into this match on his channel and True City Fan. He reviewed, I think, over 21 games with regards to interplay and really shared on how they were going to attack us. So when we were watching the game, there weren't too many crazy surprises with the approach that Inter took. I mean, there were, how well would we continue to be dialed in, defend, be sharp with our passes, not be nervous at moments, because nerves are normal in a big moment. But that game had a few, and I would say maybe like 5. That's just memory. I need to go back and probably watch the game. But there was a handful of moments, Klilnical, where I was like, oh my, and I'm talking about throughout the game. At the last pressing, when they kind of throw everything at you, that's to be expected. But I mean, like, through the run of play early in the game, through the first 80 minutes or say, it was kind of calm. It wasn't until they threw everything at us that it was like really nerve-wracking. But man, if most teams are going to take that approach, I think the masterclass, great tactical approach, I think that needs to be calmed down a little bit, because everyone can choose to defend and play counter, right? Like, because their counters, I've seen quality, impactful, very dangerous counters. That wasn't them. So when teams want to say that they were very tactical or it was a masterclass in how to defend against City, anyone can really defend when you commit like they do, right?
It's kind of weird, because I even heard someone say in the past week that it doesn't matter if Inter set up a defensive block and park the bus, because we face that 80% of the times in the Premier League. But it's literally not as simple as that, because if you actually look at it, we benefit more from when teams actually try to come play football against us and open up the field, and we have space in the midfield. We have our best players there to take advantage of the game. But you've always seen over time, like years and years back, when teams do that part of the bus style, they're always hard to break down, regardless of who they're playing. If 2 teams are playing like that, you're not going to see a lot of goals. And even if you have one team that's great going forward, if the next team is just being compact in that area in front of the net, you're not going to have chances in the game. So the moment that, looking at the game, you hear City are heavy favorites, they're big underdogs, they should not be winning this game. That was a narrative being thrown around in the media. So them knowing that are not gonna then see us progress through the tournament how we have. There was a clear difference on the sides of the bracket. They get to the final, they're playing anyone, either that's Bayern, Madrid, or us. They're setting up the same exact way.
Yeah, good
and
point.
The fact that it was us that played them, and we grind out the game and then still won. You can't then say that was the best approach they could have made, so they were the better team. They were always going to set up like that.
Exactly.
I think people just need to look back and just
like I know. And Klilnical, I'm gonna get to the comments, but imagine City setting up just to defend, and then criticizing the other team for finding it difficult to score. or to get scoring opportunities. Like it's just like let's look at a complete game. Like let's look at, and I'm not saying that teams need to play open and be as expansive as City are, but for a team to set up defensively and be a counter team, like why do there's too much praise attributed to that. I want to go to Collins, and I see the most important moment in our club history is when our Man City media vanished. So I think he wants to emphasize this. Let's not discuss our team. Let's not categorize our team as Man City. We're Manchester City. With how things kind of happen on socials, some things do need to adjust there. But I'm with you. When things kind of calm down a little bit, Collins, I think things are going to be really good. I got a shout out, and again, no disrespect, but my gal Rose, what's good? She goes, "Hey Vader, I knew Manchester City would win the Champions League because I dreamt it." Ooh. You know what? All right. Those dreams can come. Those dreams can come true. I believe it all season long. I also I knew City would win the treble. God bless Manchester City. I'm so thankful. Rose, listen, those dreams. If you dream lottery numbers, hit me in the DMs. Let's do that. And on top of that, let me say this: you got to let me know how early in the season you had this dream. You got to let me know, because you would have known this, or you would have known this way early. So please let me know. Edison in the building. We used to battle. Edison and I would battle tough hours. IEGA playing some FIFA. Edison goes, props to Pep adjusting the midfield to a diamond. True. Edison, a coach himself, kind of sees the game within the game. Respect Edison. Collins goes, some Messi PR already bringing hilarious stats just to favor Messi for Ballon d'Or. And now that Haaland has won the treble. Listen, this popularity contest, Collins, I dare to say it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough. We already see Messi's moving to MLS. Is it going to be as, he won, obviously, World Cup. Is going to be as kind of like farewell, because winning things aren't going to happen with him playing in the MLS? I don't know, but there's a strong fight with regards to the number of goals. And I think if we look at, I think overall, I think for the year, goals and assists, I think Haaland has more than Messi, but I don't know. They may not put a lot of props on the fact that we've won the second only treble in the Premier League, with him being a huge factor versus what Messi did World Cup. Beep. We are the champions. No time for losers, because we are the champions of the world. I should have sang that, Beep, but I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Dre, I say, even though I'm celebrating, Inter played very unsportsmanlike, flopping and fouling. In contrast, Gundo got fouled and put up his hand saying, "I'm okay." Class. Listen, I love that aspect of our squad. And it's also been the nature of City. It's not just with the introduction of Pep and how he manages the team. But yeah, fouls getting up. Yeah, we'll play that game, Atletico Madrid, right? We'll play that game, right? Let me give you a little bit of your own medicine. But in this one, and I think that's also on how some of these calls were, or how the ref officiated things, knowing that City was playing a straight-up game. Straight up. Edison, were you surprised by Inter's approach in the first half? Honestly, I wasn't. Look at how. Not at all, because the kickoff, Inter actually got the ball first, and what I noticed was City did not venture. And here's the thing: City did not venture to really make Onana kick the ball. Like they didn't. We weren't looking to really press him, because he is good with his feet, until we got into the flow of the game. But funny enough, his first kick landed out of bounds. Like it sailed long. So the approach that they had, I wasn't too stressed about it, Edison. I kind of expected it. Ederson had a few bloopers. I would say he had one blooper. There was one blooper with the ball that got played back. Silva to Akanji / Ederson. Communication was a little off there, but other than that, and actually he had another kind of pass where he sailed it way too high over Ake's head and it went, allowing them to be in our final third. But other than that, I think it was pretty calm. Collins, Vader, what are your thoughts about PSG willing to sell Mbappe since he wrote a letter he won't sign his contract extension? That's a great topic. Is that today? Should I? You know what? PSG got Mbappe to be there for another year. Mbappe's probably looking at, I've got Neymar saying, I want out. Obviously, Messi's out. He's probably looking and saying, like, I don't know if I can go to battle with these guys. Yes, what we do in Ligue 1, we can probably get away with. But if I really have aspirations to get this beyond this world stage, like I'm seeing Haaland do, I need to move on. So he's probably doing the right thing for his career, but it's going to be interesting now with the letter being out on what they can actually get for him. But
go ahead. Benzema also left Madrid earlier this season as well, so he might be looking at that and saying maybe this is my time to get that dream move to Madrid. And although they said they wouldn't go back in for him, they definitely would do if they got the chance.
True. Real Madrid said they weren't going to go back in for Haaland. You know they will. They said they weren't going to go back in for Mbappe. You know they will. The Real Madrid that said we come calling or knocking once, and if you don't answer, that's it. That's not the Real Madrid today, man. Beep agreed, or maybe he's surprised with what Gundo was saying, back-to-back Champions League. I'm not ready to even talk about that yet. I'm not. It's like, I don't know if you've been a person that's bungee jumped or skydived. I'm not saying I'm about to do that again after just doing it. Nah, we're going to chill. We're going to enjoy this summer, surgical summer, Pusher T voice. I'm telling you, it's going to be nice and relaxed. I'm going to craft up a lot of defending agendas, and I'm going to craft some very strong attacking agendas for the rivals because we outside. Chess is big right now. You know what it is. Rose saw me on HH's show. I was getting shout outs from people on the street because they know I'm a City fan. The love is real. Champions League, man. Crazy. I'm so happy for this club and for the players. B goes, someone clip that. Nah, it's already done. Trust me. Rose goes, wow, that's why Manchester City will be head and shoulders opponents, as Carl explained. Foundation. This is it. It's not a let's just, we have an opportunity, let's try to maximize or get the most of it now. It's not that. Look at how Arsenal at the time when they were surprised, they were very surprised to be leading the league the way they were. They were like, we got to strengthen, we got to win now. We're ahead of the process. Nah. You got the foundation, you continue to progress. You don't rush to get signings that may not have been on that target because that can stint your long-term success. We're going to build off of this. We're not going to make any rash decisions. As fantastic as Gundo and Silva were for us, and I know there were kind of rumors or speculation on them remaining. Same thing for Walker, contract talks and stuff like that. We'll deal with that. Right now, we celebrate the commitment that they did for us. These warriors, if they remain, they remain. But we're going to make the best decision, not only for the club, but also for the player with how things have been measured out. So have confidence in that. DC, the game was one long panic attack. I told my family that if I don't survive, then please attribute my death to MCFC and invoice the club for expenses. DC, that is hilarious. That is hilarious. I think the funny thing is, the panics for me were like this. Like if I was on like a pulse machine that was, just rating my heart rate or monitoring my heart rate, like there were certain keys, and I'm sure this happens at Klilnical too. Like when the ball gets in certain areas of the pitch, or you notice that there's one additional interplayer running down on us defensively. Like I had that moment a few times, so I wouldn't say it was one long panic attack, but it was like, whew, we got away with one. All right, we got to shore that up. Or, that deflection got to our feet versus them, so things are calm. It was like
one
that.
play
Go ahead.
I think we had just cleared it out, and it had fallen to one interplayer. Someone stepped up to him, and it's like it just bobbled off his feet. None of them expected it, and the next player was Chalangalu next to him, and we know he's the threat from range. So he steps up on it, and he just pounds it into the box, and I think it was blocked off of Diaz. At that point in time, my heart was in my mouth. I'm like, I was seeing it in frames, and it's like, this guy has been scoring outside the box all season. And he's now unmarked, edge of the box.
Yes.
Henderson looks rooted, and he rockets it. I thought moment, and at that point it would have been 1-0 to Inter. So trust me, that the game had a lot of moments where it's really, really
all over.
margins, man.
All over the place. All over the place. I want to say this, and thank you all for being in the comments. Hopefully you've also hit that like button. And again, group chats you happen to be in, Facebook, whatever, please share this. Let's grow this. And I want to thank you. I want to thank each and every one of you. I've been noticing the subscribers. We're creeping. We're creeping and we're creeping and we're creeping. We're getting to that 500, and if you haven't already, Klilnical's channel, the description, the details are in the description of this video as well. So please click on his channel, get his subs up as well, because we cannot miss each other over the summertime. We're going to continue to talk we're going to talk all things City. We're going to talk all things league in the summertime. Trust me, there's going to be so much more drama.
Later, before you move on too far, I literally need one sub to get to 60. Just one more sub.
One more sub. One more sub and he gets to 60. Let's make that happen. 60. Let's make that happen. Let me point this out. Edison goes, tell me about those Lukaku moments. Now, Edison, Lukaku came in, what was it, like the 60? No. I'm going to have to look up when Lukaku came in. But I'm glad he didn't start. I think the manager made a mistake not starting him. Edison, let me know in the comments if you agree. Not starting Lukaku. I think he made a mistake not starting Lukaku because if you're playing on the front foot, if you're playing to like kind of dictate play, have confidence in your scoring, in your counterattacking abilities, then you would play your better strikers. You would play your two strongest strikers, right? Lautaro and Lukaku. You would play those two. And I think the manager played to be like, oh, let's wait until later in the game to get that result, or let's wait until later in the game, maybe tired legs to get a Lukaku on. I didn't agree with that. I think he should have played him from the start. Edison goes, Lukaku should have started. See, I'm with you. He goes, of course. Dez goes, sit. Listen, Dez, in the building, the Blue Hearts, I see you, my friend. This is epic dream settings right now. And let me go back. Because like Klilnical, like those that have featured on CIA, we've thought about winning the Champions League. We thought about what it would mean. We thought about, winning it. If we want to go back to even playing against Chelsea 2 seasons ago, we thought about winning that thing. But I never, ever, and if we want to go back to when it was losing that Champions League to Chelsea, that was 2 seasons ago. Winning the Champions League wouldn't have been like winning the Champions League on the head top of a three-peat. This is where honestly, and some of the comments earlier were the emotions where it's trying to be like, I'm not even settled yet. I haven't even like really figured this out. Like I'm still pondering. I'm still thinking about this thing. Like we just three-peated, and our manager got these players to play for a 3rd league title and still have the motivation and energy and drive and health to win Champions League. Like I never thought of winning the Champions League on the end of a three-peat. Never. And this is why I said a lot of these agenda points are getting rewritten. A lot of these things that rivals were held over our heads, bantered us with, talked us down, told us to sit on the floor, told us to zip your lip. Can't do that anymore. Oh, it's so crazy, man. It's so crazy. Let me
Can I just say something real quick?
Clinical, trust me, go ahead. You're good.
So, like how you'd hear some City fans saying that, oh, them prefer win the Premier League than the Champions League. Not that they don't want the Champions League, but if you ask them to choose which one, they would pick Premier League because it's bread and butter, right? And rival fans who have won the Champions League would always say, when you win the first one, you'll actually know why it's so special. You'll get the feeling, and then you'll understand and you'll want more. A lot. So I'm the only City fan I know, right? Amongst my friend group, I'm the only City fan. There are loads of Chelsea fans, loads of Liverpool fans, and a couple United fans, right?
Okay.
So one of my friends who was a Chelsea fan messaged me and asked, so how you feel now about the Champions League? And honestly, I could not answer him, and this is why. I genuinely don't know, because looking back at this season, we have won the league for a third time in a row, something only United have ever achieved. It's only been done twice before in Premier League history, right? And we just did that. Small City, who they said could never do this. They said we couldn't defend it, and we defended it twice, and then added a three-peat on top of that. Then we won the FA Cup, beating United in the first ever Derby final. If that had happened by itself in a season, that alone make it a special season.
Yeah,
right?
Clinicals. Yeah, you brought out the heavy hitters. Go ahead, keep going.
Thirdly, we then go on and beat Bayern Munich, Real Madrid. Then we go into the final and beat Inter Milan. We win our first ever Champions League final. And it's like, I don't even know how to feel about just the Champions League itself, because I never imagined winning a treble. Like, honestly, maybe a couple years ago, I would have flirted with the idea of the quadruple, because we lost the Champions League in the quarterfinals that year, and we literally went on to win everything else. So it was close, but I saw then how hard that was. And then at that point, I'm thinking quad and treble are so far. Like, it's going to be very hard to do that. And the fact that we've done that around in 5 years, it's, oh my God.
Listen, this is okay. Because I was going to say this, but you brought it up, and it's a great segue. This is why I'm conflicted. And this is why my emotions are all over the place. And please bear with me in the comments. Obviously, I've wanted us to win the Champions League. I'm excited. I'm trying to measure my emotions with regards to winning it. But it's confusing. It's all mixed up, because it's not just the Champions League. You know what I mean? Like, as you were just talking about, Clinical, it's not just the Champions League. It's like how the Champions League was won, but it's also because this was a three-peat. So I can't, my emotions are all over the place, because I can't quite separate the three-peat from the Champions League, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't know if what I'm feeling is because it's for the UCL. You know what I mean? Like, because even when I close my eyes and when I think about it, I'm still getting all the emotions of it being a three-peat, like being told that we could only win back to back. We've tried to do it before. We're gonna crumble, you know. I honestly don't know if the great feeling that I have is solely for the Champions League, because it is on top of a three-peat, and it was against these huge heritage clubs. Like, this is where I'm really confused. I think it would have been a lot simpler if we had just won it and it was like the first year of the season, or if we had just won it and it was just the Champions League. We didn't win the league. You know what I mean? Like, If it was a double, maybe it'd probably be very similar to like winning the Champions League. But this isn't a double. This is a rare treble, and this is a rare three-peat. Like I don't know if it's the same for you in the comments, but my emotions on how much I'm enjoying this, and I'm so amped for this Champions League. I think it's because of everything else. And maybe with a little more time, I'll be able to understand. Maybe when we win another one, I'll be able to say, you know what? Here's what the emotions are. But yeah, I know I'm tripping. Collins, my bad. He goes, Bernardo is leaving, confirmed by Jack Grealish. I did see Jack plead. I did see him plead to Bernardo, please don't go. I saw him do that. We'll see what happens for Bernardo. Marvin in the building. Just can't deal with champions. Just can't deal with champions. It's true. Because first Champions League was a treble three-peat. Pep is goated. This is it. Marvin, the emotions tied to this. Everyone said you're gonna know what Champions League is all about. We've been telling you you've never won one, so you don't know what the emotions like. But when you do win one, you'll be able to say this. I don't think these emotions that I'm feeling are just because it's Champions League. And so I'm feeling treble three-peat. This is what I'm feeling. Treble three-peat emotions. I don't think I can separate it. Marvin, like you said, it can't just be Champions League. It can't. DC. History merchants and heritage merchants can't sit down. City made history. Listen, DC. We ruined a lot of merchants. We ruined a lot of merchants with this season, man. We did. We 100% did. I hope I'm not missing any comments. I wanted to put this on screen because, again, we won this game 1-0. All right? 1-0. Apologies. I got to remember that when I'm talking to my UK people, it's don't say 1-0. That's so North American. 1-0. I hear you. But let me put this on screen. My bad. Where is it? Let me put this on screen. Because this is 77th minute in the game. And we got to salute. We got to give thanks. We got to appreciate every starter of that Champions League game and everyone that got subbed on. And in particular, when we talk about panic moments, when we talk about, we still got this. KDB, learning that he's been managing that ruptured hamstring for a large part of this season, was a warrior for us, and realized that the pace of this game can't afford to be a step off. He can't afford to be a liability out there. Did the right thing and said, you know what? Put in my effort, 30 plus minutes. I can't go any further. I can't risk it at the sake of maybe us being outnumbered on a counterattack. He chose to step off that pitch. And Foden came on that pitch and delivered. Foden, we knew injury kept him out of the majority of the season this year because he was on fire early on. We know hat trick against our hated rivals, United. But Foden was on fire, and he had a great chemistry between him and Haaland. The fact that Foden got subbed on, I think, 25, maybe 30 minutes early, because I think Pep was always going to bring Foden on. But the role, the instructions, the level of play, the quality that Foden had, bang on. And I want to show this highlight because at the 76th minute, 50 seconds, look at what maybe a seasoned sharp Foden puts away. YouTube, do not copy strike me. This is strictly for learning purposes and review. But watch what Foden does. Ball gets played to Rodri. Rodri heads up, slips it in. Foden, woo! That turn was nasty. That turn was so nasty. Watch how he instantly, and I love his directness, instantly puts himself on the offensive, dismisses that defender, and he's on to the races. And look at Haaland. Look at Haaland battling for space, trying to make himself available, running to his right, which Thierry Henry said that when Haaland does that more routinely, he's going to bag a lot more goals. But watch Foden. Oh, Haaland gets taken down. Foden gets into this box, and I think the ball is just slightly ahead of him. I think Foden just maybe pushed that just a slightly too much, because we do expect him to put this pinpoint. How often, Klilnical? How often have we seen Foden put that right on that far post, just maybe clicking that post and getting in? This chance, I was standing, I was yelling like, "Yo, let's get it!" And Onana made a good save. And Foden, I think, wasn't as clinical as we've seen him be. But that was a huge moment. What do you think when that was?
It's unfortunate because we usually see Leroy Sané do that like so often. That was kind of his bread and butter from that position. You see
Mm.
the left, and it's like at first when I saw it, I was thinking, oh my gosh, that was so close. Onana like a really good save, but watching it back, it's like no, Foden. Maybe like you said, he did hit it a little bit too far ahead of him, but he should
Yeah,
really be scoring that.
he should be. He should have been scoring that. And you know what? In
In
all fairness,
or
they didn't.
further in
They
the
didn't
corner.
show. Go say that again. Sorry.
I said either at that near post, like deceiving him on which side he was going to put it, or like further in that corner. But he seems to
Yeah.
like put it in like arm's length of Onana, so he just fell on the floor and then scraped it up.
Yeah, I think a seasoned sharp Foden puts that away, no problem. Or maybe even slows it down and maybe invites the little pressure on his back because he's able to kind of shield that and get that goal off. But Dez goes. We need Leroy Sané back. If Bernardo and Mahrez leave, that would be nice. Dez, man, don't hold out for Leroy. Don't hold out for any players coming back. No, don't do that. We've seen. I mean, there's a lot of things. We'll actually get into the transfer window. Trust me, with True City Fan, Pitch Points, Mancunian Way, Klilnical, Hamza, Coletso. I need to get Coletso in the mix in the summertime. Don Smoke. We'll talk about this because there's a lot of players, I think, that obviously fit in our system, and we can see Pep move Foden, move Grealish, maybe a little more central. So let's see what that means with regards to wing play down the road. Collins, as it stands, we can win a UCL three-peat if we if we decided to be shameless like Real Madrid and only focus on the UCL each year. A three-peat UCL forsaking the league. Collins, you know what? I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that point. You got something there. You got something there. Collins, I told a Real Madrid fan to put their treble on the table and have never felt more happier. Listen, the Collins, it's a little early. I think it's a little early. You should have held that for a little bit. But no, you're absolutely right. To think of it, 14 UCLs for Real Madrid. Not one of them's a trouble. Not one. The kid, he goes, if Pep somehow wins a back-to-back treble, I would do unthinkable things, Vader. What a narrative that would be. Listen. Let's not do let's do okay, if they're unthinkable things, as long as all of that is legal, we're good. You're good to go. But the celebration for a back-to-back trouble would be absolutely insane. At the same time, we're gonna need thick skin. You're gonna need a thick exterior. You're gonna have their guard up because the battles, the eyes of hatred, right? The envy. It'd be at another level. So you'd have to be really strong throughout that season if that were the case. DC goes, Ronnie Foden will be in our academy. Yo, he's ready. He's seeing what greatness is, winning culture. He's going to be next gen Foden. Sick. Dre P goes, regarding written, Pep is great tactically, but not the best in man management. Well, three-peat and trouble. What's that? How are they talking about not being a good coach, not being a good manager, not being a good man manager when what you have to do psychologically for these players with regards to a three-peat, right? Absolutely crazy. Listen, The agendas, and the one thing that I want to say, I need to stress this. Do not let any rival minimize any player and even try to make it seem like this is a systems thing. If it were a systems thing, we would have been here before. Pep had to make adjustments with regards to how he got the best out of these players, and he also challenged these players to have different instructions and play in different roles than what they've had from past seasons. It's an evolution of manager. Let me start. It's an evolution of club, manager, player, and fan base. I see such a difference amongst our fan base, even with regards to the comments on how we interact with each other, and even some of the comments that I see on other channels. We're reaching different levels, and it's great to see. I think don't let any rival minimize our club, manager, or players. This system, it's not just anyone can be introduced and get these results. Pep had to do a makeshift. Pep had to let Cancelo go for the sake of the team and adjust to it. The introduction of a Haaland, of an Alvarez, right? Rico Lewis this season. I know maybe latter stages didn't play as much, but for what's happened from the beginning to the end, every player had an impact. Sergio Gomez, to even with regards to not getting the most out of a Calvin Phillips, but obviously at that latter stage of the season when we needed Rodri to be on that bench, Calvin gave us 90 minutes. Yes, we would have wanted a lot more 90 minutes from him, but listen, these players put in a shift for us. And listen, this treble would not have been possible if not for all of their efforts. Mahrez, as inconsistent as it may be, as mad as we may have been with some of his and maybe Grealish's performance early in the season, that all resulted in figuring out what was best for every player and for team. So let's remember to celebrate that. I got Treble Father. I'm gonna bring him to the stage, let him speak. I'm just about to wrap up the show, and I got to get to the comments. But Treble Father, hope you're doing well. Speak to us and the fam. How you doing, man?
I'm wet.
Parade life will do that to you, man. How are your ears? How's your voice? Everything good?
Yeah, everything is good. It was listen, you can't have a parade without Manchester weather now, can you?
Spitting,
yeah. And it wasn't even just a little bit of rain, it was torrential downfall.
I could see it. I mean,
thunder and lightning. We had it all.
Oh, you had lightning as well. The funny thing is, I was talking to Gundo, and he's having rain in DC. I'm here in Toronto. We're having rain here, so it was kind of like what I was seeing on screen was actually the same environment over here. I don't. Klilnical might be good. He might have a sunny day where he's at, but I was dealing with rain as well.
It was fine. It was 30 degrees. It was 30 degrees an hour before.
All right.
And then as soon as the parade was about to begin, it decided it was going to thunder and lightning. And well, the trouble is that's what happens when you get that kind of heat. It's got to disperse somewhere, I suppose.
I hear that. I just seen this comment right now, and I'm so glad that you were able to make that parade. I'm sure you have some great photos and memories with the fam. But I want to address this because Collins first asked, Vader, do you have any future? Vader, do you have any future KDBs in mind? I don't know if you mean KDB replacement or if you mean what do I think of KDB's future, but no, I have not thought of a KDB or a future KDB that's going to be groomed. I think anyone that would not obviously play his role, but would maybe look to do something similar to it, I think they're already here. I think it's within Grealish and Foden. And
don't think Grealish is fit for purpose for the next 17 weeks.
You know what? His kidneys must be like titanium.
Well, no. Calvin Phillips had a bottle of vodka on stage in his hands. Haaland was absolutely wasted. Haaland was gone to another level.
Wow.
Haaland was stood there with his top off.
I saw
Kyle
that.
Walker,
He had a shirt on his head.
Calvin Phillips was wasted. He was singing. Stones was wet. All of them, even Pep was like, I don't even care. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Just embrace this. The only sad thing is obviously Jack confirmed what we all said about Bernardo. Looks like
Okay, yeah, I heard that. I saw that in the comments. I thought it was just that one video I saw when they were on the train, but
plus he's all Jack's talked about all night is Bernardo Silva being homeless and begging him to stay, and Bernardo just went very sheepish and very quiet, I think. But listen, and you know what? Good luck to him. I hope he has a fantastic career.
All right, guys.
Wherever he goes.
Right,
I hope he has a fantastic career wherever he goes. I hope he succeeds, probably at PSG. But, this is the thing. You got to remember, we lost Aguero, we lost Kompany, we lost David Silva, and we got better. We got better.
Martin.
Yeah.
No, I also saw a post earlier that was saying Pep announced to the backroom staff or the board that he was going to after his contract ends in 2025. And honestly, my first thought when I saw that was, I really just want to focus on enjoying what we just achieved right now. And I think after the celebrations have died down, me personally, I would like to then focus on the outcomes or what potentially might be for next season. But I still think it's way too soon to be onto somber conversations like potential departures of the players we're supposed to be celebrating right now. But I completely understand where you're coming from, and if he does go, then he'll be free with all our praise.
Klilnical, I think what it is because some of the.
I'm sorry, your audio kind of chipped out.
No, I get that, but you got to remember when some of them leave tomorrow, they won't be coming back. Yeah. And that's just the fact of it. We can celebrate all this, but in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, because they've only got about. I think my audio's crap, so I'm going in a bad area. You got to remember that they've only got about 3 weeks off.
Yeah. And internationals are going to be coming up as well. So, yeah, those players who are leaving, this is probably the last time we're going to see them.
Exactly. So, you just thank them for it. You enjoy the moment, but they'll have 3 weeks off, and then they're back to it, and then off to go to Tokyo.
Yep. How did you?
That's the weird thing. They get 3 weeks off.
Yeah, Martin, how did you enjoy the parade? Because from what I was seeing, it looked to be absolute scenes. All the players were loving it. I know they were all drinking their days away today. Pep, especially, he was on the side of the bus and he was just giving all the love to the fans, and they were just reciprocating. It was just so amazing to see. And
it was good. It was a bit weird doing it in torrential downpour weather. Because the buses sort of, I think the parade would have gone on a bit longer had the weather been better. But I think because they've been delayed, because they weren't on stage long either. They were only on stage about 10, 15 minutes, and then they were off again. I think the weather killed a little bit of it, sadly, today.
Yeah, I understand that. And you know what's funny as well? Like, people love to talk about plastic fan base and they're just here for the success. It's not really about loving the club. But the fact that you would see so many people out there in the pouring rain and they're all just there celebrating still, I doubt a lot of people, dampen their moods too much until maybe after the bus has passed and the stuff was winding down. But while it was there in full force, people were there on top of posts, just taking the entire moment in, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah, listen, these moments will never leave us. They'll never leave us. We've got these memories forever. And you got to ignore all the noise, ignore all the crap that people are banging on about, and you just realise that this is a very special team. And like I said to people today, this is not something we'll see every season. Yeah, you might see a Premier League, you might see an FA Cup. You're not going to see the treble year in, year out. This is something that we have to treasure, and I don't think the enormity of what we've done will ever be realised for a long time yet. 24 years on and people still talk about the United treble. In 24, 25, 40 years' time, people will still be talking about ours. So that's the enormity of what we've done this year. That's the enormity. It's madness. It really is. and to say those three trophies together close up was something special. Was great. You know, it was just very weird because, like I said, it was raining. The players were plastered. The players were absolutely hammered to a man. I think Pep was even plastered. They're all off to a party tonight as well at the Mayfield Depot in Manchester, where the screening was held. They're all having a big end of season do tonight, and then they'll go off internationals. I'm blessed to them.
Yeah, it's very well deserved after the season that we just had.
Oh, so sorry.
These
So
players
sorry.
are now immortalized. I love it.
Now,
Yeah.
Thank you for holding down the fort. Apologies. I got summoned. My little baby girl needed some help. Let me say this. Sorry. And I said this earlier. I'm not sure if you're able to hear it, Martin. But before winning this UCL, every rival would tell us, "Oh, you guys say you're bread and butter. You say you want the league first only because you've never won a Champions League. That's what. Oh, until you experience the Champions League, you'll never know. That's why you guys want the league first, and you say Champions League would be the cherry on top." I have to say this right now, and I was struggling to really articulate it earlier. I honestly don't think I can answer, or I don't think I can agree to what rivals were telling me, because this isn't just the Champions League. Like, it wasn't like we didn't win anything else. We just won the Champions League. This is a three-peat treble. So this emotion that I'm feeling, this is like, yes, we did it. Yes, I'm so proud of these players. Like, look at the club from where it's fought to where it's gotten to. I don't know if I can say, oh, you're right. These feelings I have is because I won the Champions League, because I don't think it's strictly just the Champions League. This is
no.
So
I mean, ask me now. Ask me now what my priority is for next year.
what are your priorities for next year?
League. I want that 4-peat. I want the 4-peat. Thanks very much.
Okay.
Listen, the Champions League is great. It's part of the treble. I love it. But I always said I was one and done. Monkey's off our back now. Thanks very much. Right. Back to the bread and butter. Because the Champions League is going to change. Yeah, but it's going to change again next year or the year after.
Right,
We're going to go to 115,000 teams soon. It won't be a Champions League. It'll be anyone invited league soon. Yeah. Listen, this is where we're going at. The one thing I'm proud of is that we've won it in this. We've won it like this before it does change again.
Well, we won it like this, and
again,
look at the teams we had to go through to win it. Like, man. Sorry,
that's what I'm proud of. That's what I'm proud of. To win the FA Cup, we had to beat Arsenal, Chelsea, United. We beat Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. Yeah, we know what happened against Southampton. In the league, we were 8 points behind Arsenal. We turned an 8-point lead around and got a 9-point, 10-point lead of our own. So we actually turned nearly, 16, 17 points behind? Yeah. So we've actually turned 16, 17 points technically.
And Martin, this is CIA. This is intelligent agendas. So when we're going to layer on these agenda points, Arsenal, 13 league titles. They're no slouch to winning leagues, right? So,
Well, how many points? How many points will Arsenal behind us in the end?
Ooh, that
Have you got
turnaround.
that in
I
front?
think 8. Did we
Max.
not turn it around?
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So 16 points we've turned around, fella. This is
Against
my
a
point.
13-time league winner. This is what I'm saying.
So
Like,
never allow Arsenal fans to tell you, 8 points. No, it's actually 16 points because you were 8 points in front of us and gone.
yeah.
Yeah, we turned it around to 5 points, so we finished 5 points above
So
them.
I'm
at the end of the day,
on a lot. There's going to be a
that's
lot
embarrassing.
of when I talk
That's
about
embarrassing for Arsenal. Sorry.
Mhm.
You didn't just give up an 8-point lead. Oh, sorry, we didn't just demolish your 8-point lead. We got a lead of our own on top of that.
Yeah. No,
And then
you're
in the
right.
Champions League, we beat every team, top team in Germany, the top team in Spain. So I'm one of the top so-called teams in Italy.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
if you
True.
could, that's why this treble to me will always be the best, because it's more games over, and by the way, with a much smaller squad.
Yep. 100%.
Don't ever buy into this. Our squad's huge. No, it's not.
No. That's a show. That's a summer show, actually. That's a summer show.
Don't ever give me that crap. I saw Sergio Gomez tonight celebrating. Calvin Phillips was celebrating. What was Calvin Phillips celebrating? What cheeky little sod. Cheeky sod.
Everybody's celebrating.
You know
They're
what?
not doing this.
I changed my Twitter profile picture to Calvin Phillips with the Champions League trophy, and that's gonna get so many people.
Yeah, that's what made me laugh though. Calvin Phillips was hugging the Champions League trophy tonight, and the guy next to me went, "He's never played a minute hardly. What's he hugging it for?"
Deservingly so, man.
No, I get it. No, it's tongue in cheek. It's a bit of tongue. But this is the thing, and it was simple fact of tonight is, I've heard people have a go at the players. They shouldn't be that drunk in public. Listen, these lads have gone at it for 9 to 10 months, hammer and tongue, 60 plus games.
Yeah.
Let them celebrate it.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola, excuse my language here, was pissed basically.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola was gone.
Yeah.
Everyone was gone.
But
let them enjoy it.
Exactly. Let me say this with regards to that, because again, these players are always so measured when they're in front of camera. They're always so measured representing the club. So we see a little bit of it when, the Manchester City YouTube channel has them do some of those quizzes and all that kind of stuff. But we're seeing a little bit of their personality. Yes, it's layered with some alcohol for some of them. Not all of them, but for some of them. It's still them having to let loose. Imagine how dialed in they were for this entire season. They played the most amount of games. Their season lasted the longest. When you work hard, you got to celebrate, because if not, you don't quite have that same energy to work hard again, because you didn't reward yourself the proper way. So I'm not faulting them either, man. They deserve it. I know I'm behind on these comments, so let me do this real quick. Marvin goes, what do you think about people saying De Bruyne had a disaster class and left the pitch due to pressure, not injury? Listen, Marvin, they're gonna run with their lazy agendas. The warrior that KDB was, and I realize KDB stands for kick the ball. No one kicks the ball like KDB. But this guy played with a ruptured hamstring and obviously had the treatment to be able to do his thing. Wasn't at full tilt. He wasn't running the way we saw him run down that ball when he scored that half volley against Arsenal. That Tomiyasu mess up in that half volley. He wasn't racing down throughout the season like that.
Can I just jump in on that one comment? I'm going to shoot in a minute, mate.
Yeah.
Do you know what it did tell me about Kevin De Bruyne? We have to wrap that guy in cotton wool for next season.
We got to manage it. We have to manage
and
it.
we need to start looking at a proper successor, because this is what good management is. You're 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead every time. Because by the way, that is not the first time Kevin De Bruyne has hit the end of the season and being injured.
Right.
And you know that they are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's been the last 3 years. KDB is at this stage of the season, and his body's just giving up.
Yeah. We got to
So,
manage him. We got to manage
you know,
him from himself in a way.
manage
We know
him
how it
better.
puts up. Exactly.
I don't want to see him playing as many games next season. I know that sounds mad, but I don't. I want to start looking at a successor, bringing him in.
Plays as many games, but just not as many minutes. Like we can
Yes.
look at
Yeah,
something
I'll do
like
that.
Holland. Yeah.
I'll do that. He's not capable of a 60-game season. He's not. His body's not there. And you know what? Father Time is the cruelest mistress.
Yeah.
Cruelest mistress is Father Time. And it's an enemy you can't beat.
Can I just add to that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this, but I think, like how Pep usually changes up his system or like towards the end of the season, and basically it's like a preview of what he wants to possibly implement for the next season. This might be me looking too deep into it, but since we won the league early, we had those last 3 games to give other players who weren't seeing as much minutes an opportunity to go out there and get some games before the end of the season. The fact that he put Foden in that midfield area through that time tells me that he's planning to actually implement them next season in some facility. I'm not saying maybe be the main midfielder next to KDB or next to Gundogan, but I do think that he'll feature there more often, even if it's just a rotation for this specific game, or like you guys said, coming in for KDB to see out a game, something like that. Because since Pep had mentioned that he wants Foden eventually to play that sort of role, he's never fully done it before. You might see it once or twice a season or over 2 seasons, but I do think this is the time now where he's actually looking to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting when we think about the transfer window, right, and see who we acquire. If it looks like we're still acquiring, maybe
I'll name you 2 now.
No, we're not doing that. Save it.
Gavadio. Anyway, I'm going to shoot. Please subscribe to this legend. Honestly, hopefully he'll come and join us on Thursday for our end of season show.
I'm free. I'm free Thursday. Absolutely.
And then I'm taking a break for a couple of weeks because I need to recharge. Never mind the players. Anyway, not to be missed, we'll do our giveaway live on air to some lucky people. Awesome. Anyway, take care.
Thanks for joining, man.
Cheers, Klilnical. Bye-bye.
It'd be interesting to see whether we acquire wingers or we have midfielders, because I think that might dictate who might get shifted out or who might be brought in. But we'll have that combo in the summer, 100%. Now, Marvin, I disagree. Ruben Diaz, phenomenal game. He leads the defense and he dictates to everybody. You see him giving that rah to Ederson, great saves, being in spot. The way Marvin, the way Ruben Diaz was so calm, cool, and collected, that deflection off of Ederson and how Ruben just headed that out of bounds was not easy to do. I rate him hugely, but I think that man of the match, I think it was Stones as well. John Stones, his movement, his effort defensively as well. He had to. They were trying to do a lot of 1-2s on that sideline, and Stones was kind of getting into his engine a little bit and had to keep up with pace. He had to play that role, and then obviously what he was attacking while on offense and being in that final third. I thought the team missed him a bit. Pep mentioned that in the post conference. But Stones had a game, man. Stones had a game. DC. Oh yeah, no, I messaged that. I meant KDB's replacement outside our squad. Yeah, Collins, not sure who it is, but we're gonna discuss that when we do get a little more info. Marvin saying, "What's up? What's good to true City fan?" I'm behind on the comments, but I want to share everyone because this is a celebration episode. Martin, for this season's success, you got showers of blessings. Listen, Martin Early said Trouble Father. He was already talking about that. I was a little I'm a Libra. My sign is a Libra, so I'm very balanced. I was like, if he's going all the way out there, I'm going to remind us we're going one game at a time. We're going to pace ourselves. And it seemed to all work out, right? Energy was good. DC, even Ruben, who's usually the dad of the group, looked plastered. Listen, these guys deserve to celebrate. This is historic. Troubles aren't every day. This is historic. This is like exclusive company. Like this is crazy, and this is in a social media era. This social media era. I know that Ten Hag said that eras come to an end. Maybe he was speaking of other clubs and not our club. Don't know. Maybe he was prolific that way, but we're doing things that not many clubs have been able to do. So I don't know what era he's talking about coming to an end.
There
These
have
players
been
recognize that and celebrate it. Yeah, go ahead.
7 teams in world football that have ever done a treble before Manchester City. So we were the 8th team in football history to complete a treble.
There it is. Whoop. There it is. DC, Bernardo will leave on a very positive note, but I still think PSG is a dead end. If he ends up going there, I don't know what kind of great success to expect for him, but we're going to give him our blessings for the duty that he had over here at City. Marvin, he's going to PSG. Yep, he's probably going to PSG. That's the latest rumor. You guys are up to date with that. I've been celebrating way too much. I'm not even in the mix. Mo goes, imagine Mbappe after a treble. What a statement that would be. Mbappe coming to City after this trouble. I would love to see it. I don't see him sharing the stage. Unfortunately, some of the players in this generation don't necessarily want to share the spotlight. I don't know if he comes to City with us already having Haaland as well as Alvarez. I don't know. Dre P, I don't even want Mbappe. Continue to go relatively low key and still win whilst others splash cash and fall short. Good point, man. Good point. Let's get the quality players that we need, not necessarily the big names. Hey, Treblers. Oh, Treblers, I like that. I like that. Mo, 5 points, but we threw away 2 games. We did. End the season. League's already secure. We didn't even stress about those games. Well, we got a draw against Brighton, and we took a 1-0 loss. Yeah, 1-0 loss to Brentford. Daniel in the building. Daniel, thanks for being on the show, my guy. Big ups, guys. Sorry for being late. I've tried to teach my brother fluent treble. See? Yo, Daniel. Great minds think alike. I was going to come in all humble with, fluent in UCL when be on HH show, Have Hope show. And then I was going to do a flex, depending on the tone and the energy. Rose, you know this. Depending on the tone and the energy, then I probably would have done a flex and be like, yo, I'm talking to United fans, or if I was talking to anyone else that had those, like Klilnical just mentioned, they were treble winners. I'm speaking fluent treble. I'm going to save that. Madrid fans, he doesn't understand the language. Trust me, there's not many that do. Daniel, hilarious. The club is elite. It's mad exclusive. Haaland over Mbappe for what we're doing, for the energy, for the passion, for the commitment, for the understanding of this club. I'm with you. Marvin. He broke down so many dangerous counterattacks and intercepted so many 1-versus-1 opportunities, as well as clearing the ball after Lukaku's header. True, I think he had the man of the match, but I get you. I'm not mad at that. Diaz did his thing. He was involved, critical defensively, and he was barking orders, which he needed to do. We need that one commander that's going to bark orders for all the soldiers to follow. And that was Diaz. I'm with you. But Stones, obviously Roger with that big goal. I love the play that Foden had to come in. I think he came on obviously a little early, but how he played that entire game was great. Daniel, don't let HH talk troubles. He doesn't understand fluent treble. I'm with you. And honestly, I didn't clock it until late with regards to being on that show last time, but it should strictly be UCL wins. When it comes down to treble talk, he doesn't quite have that influence. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that influence to really get in on that conversation like that. But I'm going to hold that. I'm going to hold that trump card. Marvin, if you rewatch the first half, maybe you'll change your mind. Who knows? John Stones did do his thing. He did do his thing. Top 3 Ballon d'Or. We got a lot of Ballon d'Or nominees this year. Mo, I hope 1-for-1. Oh wait. I'll hop on one of your summer shows. Give them the Canadian citizens' point of view. Yo, Mo, trust me, we'll link up maybe through the DMs, group chat settings. We'll set something up so that we can. Yeah, I'm looking to have a great conversation, and keep that flowing. Let me point out these last couple comments. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed to Klinical's YouTube channel, please do it. There's going to be content that we're going to have to create over the summertime. And trust me, I know the season will be over, but you'll still see some football just in FIFA form. Klilnical and myself, we're going to have to get a game in. We're going to have to do it. All right. I've got to get my reps in, but we're going to have to get a game in. And trust me, it'll be on his and my channel. You'll be able to follow that. So make sure you subscribe. Dre P, I'll say credit to Brentford and Man U. Perfect games before Inter. City can thank their neighbors for the prep. Dre, bang on. I think we may have said that on previous shows. These opponents with their style of play, not that expansive. They're going to be on the counter. They're going to be like very cautious. Great setups for Inter. Dre goes, City looked a bit nervous, but it was muscle memory that got City over the line versus Inter. Listen, I think we got in the flow. I can't wait. Listen, this is another thing. Okay, I'm going to get Daniel's last comment, and then this is one thing I got to stress. When you win Champions League, but not only that, when you win a treble on a three-peat, the documentaries, the docu-series that will be coming out because of this, we're going to get so much behind the scenes. We're going to know how Pep got these guys motivated. We're going to know some of the stresses that they had. It is going to be epic. The Amazon all or nothing that happened for when we had won with Pep, that is going to be that times 100. It's going to be next level. I can't wait for that content. And make sure you get that for yourselves as well to be able to revisit or share it another time. It's going to be epic. Trust me. Daniel, HH needs to learn basic football again. After the football Chelsea played this season, terrible football. Yeah, he needs to go back to the drawing board. I'm with you. Maybe get a tutor, maybe have some refresher courses, because this football that he's witnessed has been disgusting. Daniel's in on him today. I'm not thinking about next season or transfers. I'm celebrating that trouble still. Daniel, I'm with you. We mentioned that. Later in the summer, we'll be talking about transfers. You know what, Daniel? Because here at CIA, you know how we do things. After the season was over, after the FA Cup, after Champions League, you know what all the rivals were doing? All the rivals were in their Twitter spaces. They were on their channels. Then they're talking about future signings. They're talking about who can they get to strengthen. They're talking like their season was already transfer related. We were still involved in our football, and we're now obviously celebrating results. So what a difference what we do versus them, and we'll have time to really think about the future. I want to thank everybody for this amazing journey. CIA debuted this year. Why Always Me got some more ticks with regards to how you guys supported it. Able to make a friendship with Klilnical. We've kind of expanded with some of the shows that have been offered up. I am so grateful for it. Did not hit the 1,000 subscribers, but that does not matter. Honestly, we'll get there eventually, right? We're building on something. But to be able to share week by week has been amazing. And whether it's been 2, 3, 5 to 15 to 20, some peak shows, 30 viewers live, I'm so grateful and so thankful for it. If it was just me talking to the screen and you guys watching post, I'd be happy. But you guys being able to be here live, I'm so thankful and grateful for it. And what a year it's been. It doesn't stop. Continue to celebrate your team. don't get too hurt and having to defend them, because we should be celebrating. You can defend. There's be time to defend the club. All right. Celebrate now. Celebrate now, because this is epic, amazing. Klilnical, anything you want to kind of shout out, speak about, anything you want to let the people know before we shut down?
I do. I trust me. I just really quickly. This is not related at all, but
Yeah, go ahead. No, you're good.
wifey yesterday, one of her friends wanted to celebrate her birthday, and she had invited her and asked if I wanted to take part. I said that depends on the outcome of this UCL final, because if we lose, I'm not going anywhere. So
Right.
now that we won, I did already know that I wouldn't be doing any content that Saturday, that Sunday, or today, because I really just wanted to soak this in and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy it and see what all the other Blues are feeling, and just
Mm-hmm.
really tapping in with what's going on in Manchester. So I've soaked up all that energy now, and I think I want to just give my thoughts on how the game went on Saturday and basically how the season ended on a whole tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I will be doing a show tomorrow to go about that, and on the weekend we're gonna get into some of those topics that I told you that we're definitely gonna talk about, including Calvin Phillips. It's in the pipeline. It's coming up. So just
You got to make that happen.
sneak
You got
preview in that.
you
But
got
yeah,
to do it. You got to do it.
we have a lot of stuff to talk about, and there's a lot of stuff that I'd love to get your opinions on my channel as well to discuss. But
Mm-hmm.
with days as the days wind down, we'll definitely get to those.
No, 100%. We'll make that happen, even if it's a matter of even if my schedule doesn't allow for me to do two shows. It's off season. I'll do a show on yours, and then there'll be mine the following week. That's all. It's all good. I want to. I want to say this too. Go ahead.
Piwa M has a comment in there that says one sub soon come. That's referencing for you because you said we didn't hit that one sub mark.
Yeah, I'd put that on screen.
Now,
Yeah, yeah.
hopefully by the end of the year, 1K for you, 100 for me. That would be an amazing end to this year, man.
Listen, what I would love it to be is if I got 1K, you got 1K, because from a content standpoint, a fellow city to city, why not, right? The vibes are still the same, content's different, but you won't miss either of us if we happen to be on each other's channel that way. So if I got one sub, you should get one sub, and respect that. I'm gonna say, why always me? Why always me might be a bonus show tomorrow, because I know the rest of my week is going to be hectic. So there might be a bonus show of why always me tomorrow. I need to really devise what a few topics may be, but look out for that notification. We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate hard. We're going to celebrate hard, because this ain't normal. This ain't normal. Trouble on a three-peat, this ain't normal. We got to celebrate this. Before I go, Rose goes, lots more blessings in the coming season to you both, Vader. Thank you so much, Rose. I appreciate that. Daniel, Treble winners should have at least 100K subs. We'll get there, Daniel. We'll get there. And with your support, we will. Zane in the building. Zane, you know what? You get huge ratings, Zane, because you ain't a City fan, but you come here, you show some love. We have good conversations. You challenge with the questions. I see you interacting. Zane goes, hey, Vader, United fans causing havoc right now. It's crazy. United fans are stressed. United fans have talked way too much in terms of dropping that last domino or that trump card saying, where's your UCL, City fans? Where we're the only club in England to win a treble. They've used that way too much. They need to come up with another script. And when we get into the season on CIA and we get into details, we get grimy with it, and we really break down treble versus treble. I'm not doing that now. I'm celebrating now. This is all celebrations. But when we get into the details, we'll see which treble really racks up. We'll see. We'll do it proper. Zane, they're stressed. Zane, they are stressed. Zane goes, they can't say anything to City now because they're begging for Qatar. The agendas are going to be fierce, and we'll get into that. Zane, I hope to catch you on the next show. We might We might have one tomorrow. Why always me? So look out for that notification. But I want to thank everyone in the comments. My gal, no disrespect. My gal Rose says success is indeed the greatest revenge. Trust me, Rose. And thank you for supporting the channel, and thank you for your comments and interactions. We'll be back with another one. I hope you enjoyed this show. I hope you continue to celebrate responsibly, and let your loved ones know how passionate you are about this club and what they achieve. There's a reason why we commit so many hours to watching football and the content or everything that we kind of consume from this club. It's got my heart, and I know it's got yours. I'm Vader Games. This was Klilnical. Much love. We'll catch you next show. Thank you for being a part of CIA episode 14 of CIA Intelligent Agendas. And we're out.
Big up Vader. Big up everybody in the chat.